And welcome back. This is the King of Average podcast with your host, Medic. And
Your boy BB.
that right there was an epic introduction with an epic song. I'd like to give a big shout out to the producer, Abdo Kill Beats, for putting that link together. That's going to be hopefully and basically the beginning of every single podcast.
I'm genuinely down to make that the beginning of every single podcast. I'm so down.
We're going to get canceled for like
For something or another.
for what? For copyrights.
Oh, for copyright.
Yeah, that's
I thought you were about to say some child something. I was just like, I don't know where that's going, but yeah.
no fat. No.
No. Hopefully not. All right, dude. What's going on?
Hey, it's all what a great introduction, my guy. So we are going to be talking about a very, very simple but true thing. And welcome back.
Commercial break.
What a cliffhanger. I was like, what are we going to talk about? All right, but no, we're talking about staying true to who you are and how important that is in an overall person's development and growth. I feel like with age, you get to really find out who you are, or at least have like a better idea of who you are. And I know that I remember when we were in the communication class, that epic communication class that we were in, we took a winter intercession, BB and I, over at JC. And it was one of the best classes I've ever taken in my whole life. Mind you, a winter intercession class in college is only 4 weeks. So it's a crash course. It's a crash course. Like everything is very, very like fast and high speed. So we walked in there like, all right, bet. This is probably the only class we've ever be taking with each other. And we ended up having the most freaking fun. We went from let's just get this over with to let's try to make this last as much as possible.
It's really dope because like the entire class came together. We all like became like a super cool friend group.
Click.
We legit became a clique. It was really dope. We even set out, and the first time shooting for you.
Oh, like actually shooting?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think it was my first time shooting as well. Some guy literally organized for the whole class to go take a couple of off-road cars and about like 7 or 8 guns, right? To just go out in the middle of the desert, somewhere off the 15 all the way to Barstow, and just flipping rip all of these bullets in the desert. It was like, imagine this was within 4 weeks, right? Usually within a full semester, you barely like,
I barely know the person I'm sitting next to.
yeah, 100%. You barely start developing trust to like, maybe like, oh, let's get coffee sometime together. You know what I mean? But this was like within 4 weeks, we somehow managed to all become super chill and super close to go out shooting in the desert together. Super sick.
So the reason why I bring up that communication class was this is probably, we were what, 19 years old?
Yeah.
So at that age, I just graduated and I'm just an airhead. I'm a 19-year-old. I think I'm invincible. I think that I am just the ish. But at the same time, I feel like I'm falsely projecting a persona to the world that was not, at least I didn't feel like it was 100% me at that time. And I didn't know who I was. I didn't really know who the heck I was. So I was, I guess, putting on different hats. So when we wanted to talk about the whole topic of staying true to who you are and what you believe and so on, it was very important to me because I remember in class just talking to the professor and be like, I don't really know who I am. I roughly know what I like and what I don't like, but you're to ask me to describe myself. I'm a lot of things, but as of right now, I'm a mess. I'm a mess emotionally. I'm a mess like financially. Obviously, it's you're 19-year-old, so a lot of us are broke. But like at that time, I remember thinking to myself, like maybe I need to look at myself. I got to really develop myself as a person. And this is like an area for me to really focus in and try to understand me, because we're talking about communication and how to properly communicate with other people. But how about yourself? The question I thought about is, do you really know how to communicate with yourself? Do you like communicating to yourself? Do you even like, if you were go ahead and take a person out to coffee, you're gonna have a great conversation. What happens if you go by yourself? Grab a coffee just with yourself. That's healthy. Go down to the beach, go down to a local Starbucks, go wherever you need to go, and just have alone time with you to just really know and understand who you are, but ultimately to be very comfortable in your own skin. So that took me some time to fully understand that whole, I guess, who I am. And I'm very happy that I took that time to. It was very uncomfortable, like having fun at just like 10 o'clock at night, where I usually like enjoying it with other people, but just going out and just chilling by myself. Just be that loner at that moment, and just fall in love with yourself. Take yourself out on dates. So yeah, I think feel like with that builds a lot of trust in yourself and also your own abilities. So that way when you speak properly. And you don't doubt yourself for the most part, because you're like, I trust myself. So
So no, I think that's a great way to kind of introduce the topic, because I feel like there's definitely a correlation in, once you kind of have that comfort with yourself, you're then going to be a little bit more certain on who you are and what it is you believe.
because like the reason why I kind of went out this whole like ramble was like, if you don't know who you are, how can you stay true to yourself? So it's like, I don't know who I was at that time. How the heck can I be me if I don't know who the heck I am? So
Right, right. And yeah. And so from that experience, you can definitely, like I said, develop the comfort in just being yourself in those alone times, or in whatever times of, in whatever challenges you're facing, right? But especially in those alone times, when you're comfortable being yourself, then it's going to be a lot more comfortable for you to figure out who you are. And then you're going to be a lot more confident in what those characteristics are when you're trying to stay true to yourself. I think it's really interesting how you mentioned how you kind of like brought it up at 19, because I feel like at 19 is when I had pretty much like the biggest transition of my life in terms of like the biggest transition.
just let it out, bro. Let the world know the true BB.
The biggest transition in my life in regards to like mindset, in regards to like how I need to start developing, because same thing. It was definitely like, I was like, dude, I literally reached a point where I looked at my life as a whole, and I was like, I kind of don't like where I see this going, right? And it was in terms of, my academics. It was in terms of financial. It was in terms of my character, right? And I was just like, it's funny, 'cause this literally was at 19 during our time at Golden West College. And that's when I kind of like, I made that transition to become more religious. Thank you for your transition joke. I decided to take my faith a little bit more seriously. And then from there, I felt like the other puzzle pieces to my life kind of started to, come together. And it definitely helped shape the person who I chose to become. It definitely helped shape who I wanted to be moving forward, rather than what I saw myself becoming. It was really interesting. I even have like this theory about it, to like expand on it a little bit. I even have this theory that everybody, right around between 19 and 21, a lot of people have a huge mental shift. It's funny because I've talked to a lot of people about this, and a lot of them will either have kind of like a shift where they get closer to the faith that they were born into, or they completely let it go. And I'm telling you, there's a bunch of people I talk to, because I would explain this to a lot of people. Whether it's like, different work settings or whatever the case is, they're always curious. And they ask me questions about Islam, and they're always wondering like, why do you do this? Why do you choose not to do that? Blah, blah, blah. And then they always ask the fun question. They go, well, was there ever a time where you did do X, Y, Z? And I'm like, oh, let me tell you about how I was a ratchet back in the day. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. I'm a good boy. But I would explain to them this whole idea that like right around the age of 19, I kind of had like this phase where I was just like, wow, this really sucks. I don't like where this is going. Let me improve. And in the back of my mind, I was like, if you want to improve your life, you got to improve your faith. It was simple 1+1, right? So then they would then share their story where they would explain to me that like right around that same time in their life, they started either looking for reasons to, like I said, leave their faith or also get closer to the faith. But I think it's really, really interesting how you brought up 19.
So also, I like how you brought up the whole thing of you choose yourself. Like you choose your path.
The character I want to be.
So that right there is so profound because many times people are like, well, that's just who I am. But like, no, you need to mold. You need to choose that kind of person, whatever characteristics that you want. You got to choose that for yourself and then implement it in your life. So that way that is who you are. So when you go to the crucial ages of like 21, 22, 23, now you're graduating, now you're going to the workforce, now you found someone that you're interested in, marriage, and now you now have had about what years of experience of building who you are, at least your ideal person of who you are. There are going to be some like downfalls. God, we all have them, but you need to choose who you are. You need to mold the tomorrow. You got to mold the person that you want to be.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of, and this is where things get a little bit scary, where it's like literally if you don't choose your indoctrination chooses you. And this is where it's really scary because a lot of people literally they've been, there's the whole like, somewhat of a conspiracy where it's like the system now is like trying to separate kids from their parents. And I totally believe it, to be honest with you. But people become so attuned to their phones, right? And what they're exposed to on like different, like various social medias and stuff like that. And their phones literally become their parents, right? It tells them how to live life, what to do, what to believe, right? And the next thing you know, it's like, instead of their parents teaching them, morals and values or whatever, now whatever is being put out there is what they're taking in, right? And that is literally a perfect example how you let the external indoctrinate you and shape who you become rather than you choosing to become what you want to be. Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. It kind of, one thing I wanted to mention as well is like the idea of certainty. Having certainty in the sense of basically having confidence in what you believe, right? Yeah, having certainty, having confidence in what you believe in, because there's so much out there that is trying to shape your confidence about what your beliefs are. And it's literally gotten to the point where kind of in a sense, you are being forced to believe stuff just because, hey, this is what's accepted, or this is how it's supposed to be, or this logically make sense? And for most of us, it's literally complete opposite of what our beliefs teach, right? So it's really, really key that a person develops certainty, right? Because having that certainty in what you believe, it doesn't necessarily mean you're an extremist. Not at all. You can still be open for discussion, right? You can still have logical conversations with people and be like, hey, I see your point of view. This is my point of view. We can agree to disagree on certain subjects, right? But when you develop a sense of certainty, that is a perfect way for you to be able to stay true to yourself and to what you decide you wanted to believe in.
I feel like the term extremist is blown out of proportion.
Way out of proportion.
You have a certain idea of whatever it may be that is away from the mass public's opinion, if you're freaking opinionated, you're some sort of like an extremist. If you believe in some things, then you're a misogynist. If not, you're a feminist.
On both of those.
If not, you're a Republican. No, you're a liberal. Oh no, you're this, you're that. Like, the whole thing of like you're an extremist is just, in my opinion, is overused. Because if you have a freaking opinion about something, if you have a belief about something, then you're considered an extremist.
You know what I really hate nowadays too? I hate how people are, once they're categorized like being under a certain group or under a certain title, there's this immediate assumption about that person that automatically makes people either like them or hate them. Like
what? Say, I think I know what you mean.
Like just basically the fact that like, okay, if someone just casually goes out and says, oh, I'm a Republican, it's automatically assumed this guy hates immigrants, this guy's a terrible person, build a wall, baby. Yeah, right, build a wall. He's flipping, he hates liberals. He hates what's it called, like everything.
Yeah.
Stand for. It's like they automatically put that person into a category, and they're like, I will not associate with this person. I will not grant them the opportunity to prove that they're a good person because they identify as this. They're automatically horrible in my eyes, and like, okay, to a degree, I understand. Like, let me be open about that. But at the same time, you really do have to give people a chance to show their individuality, right? A chance for someone to prove themselves as a human being. And you want to know something? They don't need to prove anything to you, right? Absolutely not. Especially if they're certain about their beliefs and you're fighting them for it. They don't need to prove anything to anyone, right? But at the same time, it's like, dude, take into consider a situation. Like, just because you categorize someone under a certain group and you automatically hate them, I'm sorry. If they're stuck in a burning building, are you just going to be like, oh, that person's a Republican, they can die? Like there's no way somebody could be that sick. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you're stuck in the, like, if you're actually stuck and you go like, oh, I'm here to, someone else is like, I'm here to help you. You're like, hold up. Are you vaccinated? It's so stupid because you might learn a thing or two. You're talking to someone. I'm just talking to someone that's like, wait, like, we're Muslim. Well, it's not like, oh, you're a Muslim, dude. I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
I gotta learn.
The prime example is like during World War II, they had all these stories. I think World War I as well, but probably all the wars, right? They literally had these stories where some of the soldiers would literally be in the middle of the war and they would just sit there in the trenches and they start wondering to themselves, yo, dude, if I had a flipping beer with the guy across no man's land over there, like, would we not have a good conversation? Would we not have a good time? Can we not see eye to eye? Can I not call him my brother? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have nothing against that guy who's holding a gun on the other side, but only because the people above me are telling me to kill him. The people above him are telling him to kill me, and all of a sudden enemies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there was even this one thing that I don't know who did it. Whatever, video credit to whoever did it, where they legit did this thing where they had like a Republican and a liberal. They would just come in, sit at a table, and they would have no idea what their beliefs are. But they would say, thing, they would just share a drink and have a conversation, get to know each other. And they would start to like, find this interest in each other. They'd be like, oh my God, wow, it's such a great person. And then at the end, they would be like, oh, by the way, that person, doesn't believe in gay rights. And they would just be like, oh, really? I would have never thought. I was convinced they were such a great person. Another person would be like, oh, this person's like pro LGBT, blah, blah, blah. And the guy would just be like, obviously it was the guy. And the guy would just be like, oh, wow, well, I don't care about what their beliefs are. I think they're a fantastic individual. And it's like, why do we go out of our way to create separation, to create this toxic atmosphere around each other to where it's just like, dude, for no reason at all, I'm going to hate this person. For no reason at all.
I'm going to hate someone because someone else told me to.
100%.
I don't agree with that at all, because that's very, that's very regressive.
Very anti-human.
It is. It's very regressive as a civilization, especially for us being America, first world country. We're the leader of everyone. But
we're a crazy mixing pot as well, melting pot.
So we're saying, like, if you're a Republican, I hate you. And if you're a liberal, I hate you. And if you're a Democrat, I hate you. And if you're gay, I hate you. And if you're straight, I hate you. If you like women, I hate you. If you're against them, then you're a misogynistic piece of crap and I hate you. Then it's like, okay, then I freaking am just going to stick to myself and screw everyone. What's the benefit of that? So I feel like there is going to be some sort of a benefit of like that whole, I guess, sticking to your own like people in a way, because it's very comforting. But yet again, that herd mentality, like, who knows that your herd that you're a part of is 100% right? Who knows that you're even part of that? Like, how do you know that you're part of that good crowd? That you're part of the good herd? You don't know. Well, you drink the Kool-Aid so much and you're so into it, you're so freaking closed-minded that you're not willing to accept other people's opinions, other people's views, other people's life. Now, that doesn't mean that you compromise to absolutely everything in life. I still believe that you got to stay true to who you are, going back to this whole thing, right? Or like, you need to stay true to your morals, your values, and who you are as a person. But at the same time, you also need to be open to hear what other people say. Don't be too quick to judge. Judgment comes naturally, especially if it's things that we are not accustomed to, or if it's something that we were taught that is wrong. Hear them out. And even after you hear them out, I'm not saying that you're like, all right, cool, this person just completely changed my mind. Hear them out. You could still disagree with them at the end of it, but just hear them
out. I thought of like a couple really good, not scenarios, but rather examples that kind of like explain what kind of like the best approach to have. The first one I was thinking of is like, when you read a book, there is a purpose to you reading the book. There's something you're trying to achieve from it. And even if you're just like, we like to read like self-help books, right? Books that are going to help us grow in character, teach us financial literacy, whatever the case is. But, let's say you just want to read a novel, right? You don't know from what direction the author was trying to write this book. You don't know what their beliefs are. You don't know anything about their intentions with the book. But at the end of the day, there's something within the context of the book that you're going to learn and benefit from. You don't necessarily need to agree 100%, but you're still going to learn and grow and benefit from something, even if the only benefit is you being less ignorant, right? So thus we still read the book because we know something's going to come out of it. Same thing. We can believe completely different things, but hearing your story and me sharing mine, we might be able to learn something from each other that we just didn't know before, even if the only thing we're learning allows us to be less ignorant, right? The second thing I wanted to bring up, and this is a little bit more specific about like, a religious-based belief, right? In Islam, we're very strong on what we believe, right? And we have zero compromise, right? That's 100% the case. I'm not going to say for everyone, but that's how it should be. Cool? But the reality of the situation is that when we wake up on the day of judgment, are we going to be in herds? We're going to be in herds for some point, right? To get into the details of the day of judgment, right? But individually, we're all going to stand and face God on our own.
True.
On our own. So at the end of the day, I don't care what it is you decide to preach to anyone. You want to argue with everybody about about beliefs and ideas and this and that. At the end of the day, it literally comes down to the resume that you decided to prepare and that you're going to present to God. So at the end of the day, it literally just, it's an individualistic effort because nobody's going to stand by your side on that. Nobody's going to be there for you. And if everybody were to just focus on, hey, how can I improve my relationship with God? How can I improve my character? How can I focus on me being a better person? It doesn't need to involve rallies. It doesn't need to involve flags. It doesn't even need to involve nationalities. None of that. It literally is just your individualistic effort and whether or not God will accept your good deeds. Done. So why the flip we're going to argue and hate each other? Like, what's that even about?
Isn't it so ironic that a country that literally has the word united in it is very divided? Crazy. Like there is a power in number. Whether
Fighter.
no, that what?
I got you, Daddy. I just wanted to be dramatic. I almost choked.
Now you almost did. Damn, dude.
Anyways, so a country that says united, so divided.
Fine, bro.
Bro, I got you.
So you got to think about like today, America's not as united as other people. You got Asian hate. You got Arab hate. People who hate black people. You got a whole bunch of you hate white people. You have to hate Indians, and if you hate Indians, then you have to. It's like these are all contributing members to a society. And going back to the whole thing of the whole herd mentality is like, I'm Arab, so I stick to Arabs. Screw everyone else. They're wrong. They don't understand us. We're the best people. And then the other group thinks the same exact thing about their group, and they're like, screw everyone else. How beneficial is that? Because at the end of the day, if you want to bring into like being united, at the end of that day, everyone, I think what it was I believe it was World War I. Since we're talking about wars, at that time, and correct me if I'm wrong, slavery was still cool in America. Segregation and stuff like that, right? I want to say slavery,
Yeah, not specific.
but yeah, no, that's it. Take that back. Like that's more civil war though, long war. But segregation back in World War I was still a thing. You got white water fountains, you got black. You got certain, saying like areas designated for certain groups of people. But here comes a war where all of America is basically going towards a single objective. And then now that same group of people are coming together and they're fighting legit shoulder to shoulder, right next to each other. It was like, hold up, why am I supposed to hate you? I thought you guys are this. I thought you guys are horrible. I thought you guys are, but you're actually a pretty decent individual. So that's why they say like a lot of times like nations are, in order to completely take advantage of a situation of a group of people, is simple thing of divide and conquer. You guys divide a nation, a great nation, and conquer city by city. That's how you do it. Think about it. I don't like you because you're vaccinated. You don't like me because I'm not. I don't like you because you're saying one party. That's just constantly causing division. We don't see eye to eye with, out of everything in life, we don't see eye to eye about one thing. you're a horrible individual. I discredit you in all of the benefits that I may be able, the potential benefits that I may be able to gain from you. I discredit that because of one thing or one group or one thought that you get hard on, that you stand firm on, is what I'm trying to say. It does not make any logical sense.
Yeah, it's very irrational. It's very illogical for sure. I think the only point that I kind of want to like mention as well is, you know, kind of to kind of like end off on this topic that we're discussing, is the idea that I think we kind of covered it actually. I was just thinking, you know, it's so interesting because, you know, there's like recent videos coming out where, you know, there was a little Muslim kid, little Pakistani kid, school, and, you know, he decided to speak out on like the curriculum, and because the curriculum was like, very, you know, pro same-sex marriage and whatever the curriculum was talking about. And basically the kid spoke out and he was just like, this is wrong in my belief. And, you know, basically I don't want to listen to this, you know, like, I don't think this is okay for us to be learning as kids. And then like I don't know whether it was a politician or just like some random person, but she was basically comparing the kid to like a white supremacist. Right. And it's very, very interesting because like, to, you know, kind of like what we've been talking about, to what degree do we have to meet eye to eye? Like, to what degree do we have to? Right? And I always bring this up, like, you're not going to pay my bills, I'm not going to pay yours. Right? How about this? You believe what you want, I'm going to believe what I want. We're both going to work as hard as we need to survive. Right? Back to the basics. But comparing, literally, like, the dude is like under 10, right? Comparing him to a white supremacist, like, that is going to traumatize him to the degree in which for the rest of his life, one of two things is going to happen, right? He is either going to hold on to his faith so strongly that nothing can shake him, or that trauma is going to shake him and cause him to have doubt in his faith for the rest of his life.
I think I thought of a third one as well. So, like, yeah, 1 and 2 for sure. For number 3, he's just gonna dedicate his life to Pakistan. You know,
He's definitely sacrificed his life for Pakistan, dude.
great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, why are you so stressed out about what we believe? You know, like there is like, it's funny as heck too, because like, these were probably the same people who were like, or like the you know, the whole world at some point was stressed out about like, you know, Sharia being preached in America, right? And it was made such a big deal and so many people are scared of it. And it's like, dude, here you are force feeding us, you know, your own bull crap that you believe it. And all we're saying is, we don't want to believe it. And you're making such a huge deal out of it.
And those are the same people that, like, in 9/11, like, all the news was happening and everything that was going down. Those are the same amount of people that were speaking up right now against that kid that did not, like, that basically called Arabs some really messed up things, overgeneralized, that judged us as a people, as a religion. They completely just overgeneralized us. And here we are, and you're going to be preaching me about tolerance, about being accepting.
Yeah, that's funny. That's very ironic. That's very
Get the
ironic.
hell out of here.
But yeah, it's this is why I wanted to bring up the word certainty, right? Certainty. Being so like certain about what it is you believe that nothing can shake you. Absolutely nothing can shake you. No matter what, no matter how old you are, obviously it's gonna be very difficult because like the brain doesn't fully develop until 25, so like there's still a lot of time for some people. But having certainty in what it is you believe in order to have confidence in the instances where you need to stay true to yourself. Without that certainty, you're going to constantly be in this questioning phase. You're always going to be lost. You're going to be like this lost puppy. Where do we go? Right? And whenever you're trying to stick to, quote unquote, who you are, betting on what you believe, try to figure out how to develop more certainty in what it is that you believe. And alhamdulillah, I think it's very clear that we have certainty in Islam, in the fact that Islam is,
and it'll guide us to where we need to go.
It'll guide us to where we need to go. Absolutely. Dude, a lot of people are they're heavily affected by what's going on around them. Anyways, I think that was enough of that. Get out of the depression phase real quick. Anything else you'd like to say? Cool. Nobody cares. Your possessions don't define who you are. Say it.
Well,
the next line.
Oh,
favorite line.
I was gonna try to come up with like a funny line that has nothing to do with it, but I'm
okay. End it, dude.
I don't know. That's blank. Like, okay, no. So, don't hide behind designer.
Not the singer.
Don't hide behind designer. So it's like we just talked about how like your possessions don't define who you are. We don't care that you drive a Ferrari. We don't care that you have the newest Louis belt. We don't care that you're rocking Balenciaga. At the end of the day, if you're superficial, if you're cheat, if you're a horrible individual overall, you're horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you're superficial, you're a super piece of crap.
It's not like, well, he drives a Ferrari, but she has the newest freaking gear. Whoa. It's not that at all. So don't hide behind that, because all it really takes is that you're just saying that you're as insecure as possible, or that you have to mask who you are and just have that, what was it? That fake gold syndrome, or the sparkling, basically sparkling. Everything that sparkles ain't gold.
Everything that glitters is gold.
Everything that glitters ain't gold.
Yeah.
Well, we both completely.
Not everything that glitters is gold.
Everything that glitters is gold. I like that one better.
Everything that's gold glitters.
Glitter. But
every kind of cool light.
People who are superficial, people who need to like just have to have something in order for them to feel complete. Whether it's bag, a car, money, just to be like, I'm a wealthy person. Oh my God, now tell me more about yourself. Oh my God, I love that watch. Tell me more about yourself. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like, you have value, and everyone has their own value. Everyone provides the own value that they bring to the table.